All right. Happy noon, everyone. It's Alec. I'm here with Alexander and with Dale. This is kind of like last minute. It was a literally 11 o'clock, and I said to Alexander, "Hey, want to do a noon live stream again? Why not? I've been working. Took another cat to. I took one cat to get TNR this morning. The guy showed she was supposed to have two cats for me. She only had one. I'm like, really, one? I said, if it wasn't a Friday, I would tell you to hold it over till the next day because it's like 25 minutes to her house, 40 minutes to the animal shelter, 40 minutes back home. I'm like, and then I got to go back and pick it up this afternoon. So I was like, oh man, can we? But anyway, that's another cat that's not going to have kids. So it was like a chocolate colored cat, really cute.
Things you do for your kitties.
Yeah, but less kittens. We need less kittens in this world. All kittens that are in this world need to get loved first. Then we can have more kittens. So anyway, how you guys doing today? All good?
Oh yeah.
Good. All right. Let's see. Yeah, our views are coming from good Axanar Facebook and Axanar fan group, as well as I got about 40% of the people there. The rest are on the Axanar YouTube channel. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well. Let's see. We got Nemesis of Eden. How are you today? There's Tesla. Tesla's here.
Telling you stop to complain.
You have got to authorize StreamYard to give your information to Facebook. Otherwise, when you look like that, you see how you say you look like a Facebook user. Okay, buenos. What are those emoji mean? It looks like someone who's in a yoga pose and a TV set. So, I don't know what that means.
Maybe he thinks he's tuned into Yoga TV.
Yeah, I know. Wilhelm, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Hermano Francine, how are you, sir? Facebook user, since we don't know who you are, we don't know if it's been a while or not. So authorize yourself.
There's another one.
I am the cat man. Okay. Lotus meditative state because chill while watching this live stream. That's good. But Scott Voigt is on the road. Scott, how are you doing? Nemesis of Eden. Oh, we absolutely need Nemesis of Eden in the USS Ares chapter. So, hey, listen. One of the things we're talking about today is Starfleet International, and I'll pull that up. I'm going to pull up sfi.org. If you go to sfi.org, Starfleet International is the largest Star Trek fan club in the world, and it's got 214 chapters. One of which is the USS Ares chapter, which ironically is us. And I am the commanding officer of that chapter. They have commanding officers, and you have ranks and everything. It's a lot of fun. And Dale and I have been doing it for about 3 years, but we really just got re-engaged in a big way because Axanar is finally over, so I have a little more time. Plus, we've got the annual conference, the Starfleet annual conference, which, first of all, I was a member of Starfleet 5 years ago. I know, I'm old. And back when I was in law school, I found out about Starfleet back before the internet, and I'll have to pull out my old newsletters and everything. That's how I met Alexander Rosenzweig, was through Starfleet, and even then I knew about their annual conference. So we're real excited about it. We're building the chapter back up. I've got all the membership information here. We probably either added back or added. We probably had about a half a dozen new memberships this past week.
Right. We've got
myself being one of them.
6 pending, and then there's others that haven't hit the pending file yet. Once their payment clears PayPal, then they go into the pending. So yeah, we at one time when we first started this chapter, we had 100 members. We were a Centurion chapter.
Yeah, and we're going to get back up there real fast, I think. So what you want to do is if you go to their webpage, you'll see here, you can go to Join Renew now. When click on Join Renew there, and I'll show because another screen pops up. Let me show you the new screen, dude. There you go. Okay, so you'll this screen will pop up once you go to Join Renew, and it's only $10 a year to be a member. $10, that's nothing. If you've got a significant other, like family of two, Crystal and I join, it's $14, so it's $7 a person, which is great. So what you're going to do here, I'll show you here. So choose whichever one you want, and I mean, look, it's family of 6, and when you click on it, there will be another page pops up, which I'm going to share with you. Unfortunately, they don't have an easy way of doing this. Boom. And here's what you get. And you get this page pops up. Now, when this page pops up, you're going to add, email, name, address, phone number, blah, 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 blah. Here, it's all kept confidential. Don't worry. Date of birth. Then you're going to select the chapter. And this is what you're going to select. You're going to go down to here. Okay. Ares Region 2. Because there's another USS Ares chapter. But in Region 4 or Region 15, I'm sorry, it's the Ares 4, and then there's an Ares spelt with an I. Now this is us.
I'm not seeing it. Oh, now I am.
There you go.
I don't think anybody could see the drop down menu, but they can see.
Okay, so there's the drop down menu here.
But they can see that you've chosen Ares Archer
chapter at the bottom. So click on that. Click on USS Ares Region 2. That's us. And join now, and we'll get to your questions in a second, guys. So the great thing about Starfleet is there's all sorts of things to do. There's all sorts of courses you can take, which some of them are like fun, some of them are real world, right? Dale, tell us a little bit. Have you been through any of the courses?
Oh yeah, well, yeah. They do have leadership courses. They have courses on survival, courses on xenobiology, courses on Romulans, Tellarites, Andorians. Scott Vandermolen, who's one of our chapter members, has probably done over 100 courses, and you get certificates and online diplomas, and it's pretty amazing. Navigation and survival and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's really cool. You can get as invested in this as you want, but they literally have probably over 200 different courses that you can take. Trek trivia, Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek Original. They have all kinds of courses. Whatever your interest is, I guarantee you'll find something that you can get into.
Yeah, and we'll have more of these hats for sale in the near future. So heads up there. But it's a lot. So this year, the annual conference is here in Atlanta at the Doubletree by the airport. And the annual conference usually has 100 to 150 people attend, and everyone gets up in their costumes. A lot of Monster Maroons. That's kind of like the unofficial costume of Starfleet International. I know I'm buying a Monster Maroon for this summer to wear at the conference. We had one at the studio that someone had given me. I don't even know who. And I gave it to Dale because it was a little larger size. So Dale's got a Monster Maroon now. Alexander, you need to come over. It's going to be a lot of fun. Although I think Alexander used his once every 10 years I go to Dragon Con ticket this year.
Yeah, I did. I used all my saved up money last year. So I've blown my wad as you could see.
All right.
Unless they invent transporters. I don't think
not anytime soon.
Nope.
Joachim Jokish, maybe I may be pronouncing it wrong. Joachim, what a great name! Of course, the name of Khan's right hand man. But great name.
If he's from Germany, if he's from Germany, it's Joachim Jokish.
Jokish, okay.
You pronounce the J as a Y.
As a Y, Jokish. Okay.
There you go. He's German.
There you go. Okay, good. That's good. And tell you what, Nemesis, because you invented the legendary Warhammer and sex toys line, I will pay your $10 to join. So you send me your PayPal information. I'll PayPal you $10 so you can join.
Well, he kind of did, because he thought they thought he'll just turn over and go, please, sorry, no, and he just went, no, I'm gonna fight you.
Yeah, I don't know about making them shit in their pants. Listen, my feeling initially, and really my feeling, I was never antagonistic towards CBS. I had a long business relationship with them. Long, meaning 2010, I started my business. I had been working on trying to get them to come out with guidelines for fan films for 5 years. It was never antagonistic. Their lawyers, yeah, antagonistic. And unfortunately, we have a non-disparagement clause, so I can't tell you what I really think of their lawyers. I'm not my feelings towards CBS are not ones of antagonism. They're ones of disappointment that they weren't smart enough to realize that suing their biggest fans wasn't a good idea. That what they should have done was partner with us. I mean, they should have said, we offered them Axanar for free. They should have said, they should have worked with us and said, okay, how are we going to make this work? And I would have said, look, let us make it. Let us raise the money and make it, and we'll put it on your website. What a huge win. And this is the thing. Let's not worry about the mistake of suing their biggest fans and the lawsuit and all the negative publicity they got. They hate me now because of all the negative publicity they got because of their actions, which makes no sense. Their fault, not my fault, right? I was trying to work with them. What's disappointing, it's disappointing that they didn't take advantage, that they chose to sue me. What's more disappointing is that they didn't do something positive. They didn't say, how do we take this phenomenon that's Axanar and make something for fans? Right? It could have, they were so worried about protecting their IP and, well, we don't want people to. You could have said, okay, let's figure out how to work together here and let's make this something positive. They could have created a whole new way of Hollywood to work with fans. How enlightened would that have been? But that's not what Hollywood does. Hollywood doesn't find out new ways to do things. They reinvent the same bullshit all the time and try and shove it down our throats. I'm not talking Star Trek now. I'm talking Hollywood, right?
How to make more money. That's all it is.
Right. And as one of my best friends said, who's very high up in Hollywood, he said, no one in Hollywood ever lost their job by saying no. And that's the key here. If you want that out of the box thinking, you have to go to Silicon Valley. Meaning you have to go to the technology world. You have to go to the crypto world. You have to go to, these are the places of innovation in this country. It ain't Hollywood. There's no innovation in Hollywood, right? Very little innovation in Hollywood.
I would say that there is some when it comes down to the prop departments and stuff like that. With the
little,
stuff that but the people up top who are signing the checks,
Yeah, the suits. The people behind their suits, right?
Literally, they took the most, probably the most profitable, the most loved franchise, and they said, we're not going to give the fans what they want because they've been telling us what they want. The fans, all of us have said over and over, no, we're going to make something derivative that we want to make, and it's going to suck. And we're going to do this over and over until we run it into the ground. Hey, you've done it. You did it. The suits won. Okay. But the fans finally got some input, and some of the creators, like, Strange New Worlds, guess what? They're giving us fans what we've asked for, and it's going to be profitable. It's great. Everybody loves it. But now
it's not just CBS. It's been like that for years.
Oh,
look at the story.
We're not talking about CBS. We're talking about Hollywood.
Look at the story of Back to the Future. How many desks did that script go across before someone actually went, "Yeah, I'll give you a budget"?
Yeah,
It's something like 40 desks.
Yeah.
40 non-visionaries, basically.
There's a great story. About 20 years ago, maybe it wasn't that long, but it was close to 20 years ago. The first little spin brushes came out, toothbrushes. I think it was called the spin brush, and it was, and you could buy it for like $12, right? If you remember, and it was the first like moving toothbrush, and it was this little round head and a spin around. Well, what it was these engineers had figured out a way to miniaturize a little cam. They created. They sold a gazillion of them, right? And it was really hot. And so one of the major brands, whoever owns either Colgate or Crest, Procter & Gamble, someone like that, went and bought the company. Now, typically what would happen is they'd buy the company, they'd bring it in-house, they'd replace the management, and they'd destroy it. Right? This time, Procter & Gamble said, no. You guys stay where you are, and you keep doing what you're doing. Because if we bring you in, we're going to ruin your corporate culture. You got a great corporate culture. You're all engineers. You all think about this shit, right? That's what they do. They sit around and think about this shit. To quote Bruce Willis from Armageddon.
I knew exactly where you're going with that one.
Yeah, right. But that's what they did. And it was such enlightened thinking, but it shows you that there are suits who think this way. So rather than, some upper level management greenlighting fucking Knight Rider, which was a shitty one season ripoff of the original, think of something new and interesting. And now I will say this is starting to happen because of the streaming services. Mm-hmm. And Apple TV is like the perfect example of it. When you look at like how many great shows are there on Apple TV? Right, you got For All Mankind, you got Ted Lasso. It just keeps going. And what it is Masters of the Air. If you haven't seen that, they're thinking outside the box. But it's Apple, for Christ's sake. Of course, they're going to be thinking outside of the box, right? This is what Apple does. Apple is about think different, right? You remember their ad campaign from a dozen years ago? Think different. To
a point.
Yeah, and there's a really, really wonderful. I am going to urge you all to go watch the TED Talk. It's on YouTube from Simon Sinek, Sinek. Simon Sinek. If you haven't seen his TED Talk, it's called something like what. Wait, let me find out the exact name because it's one of the most important. Simon Sinek TED Talk. Let's see what it comes up with. Here it is. Okay. It's called Start with Why. Yeah, that's I'm just gonna. Yeah, it's called Start with Why, and what he does is explain that the successful companies aren't about selling you stuff. They're about why they're creating what they're creating, right? And it's really fascinating because I think it's all, when I see it, I'm like, that's Axanar. It's like, okay, I get it. That's Axanar. Axanar isn't about, we're going to make Star Trek. Axanar is about passion. Why are we making Star Trek? We're making Star Trek because we love it. We love it, and we want to make something that you love, right? And because of that, people see it and they go, when people see Prelude to Axanar, they go, these guys love Star Trek the way I love Star Trek, right? And so it's a success, right? And this is kind of what, ideally what marketing companies are trying to achieve, right? When you think about Apple, you're not just thinking about, I'm buying a computer. You're like, these guys are innovative. They like innovating because they love innovating, right? You're buying into the company, you're buying into the mentality. Whereas if you're buying a PC, hey, you're buying for what you need. You're not brand loyal. You just want the computer that fits your needs, whatever. So anyway, it's a really great story, and I think it's really important. I urge you to watch that TED Talk because I think it'll really help you think. So anyway, we're getting back to Hollywood. Yeah, that's the problem with Hollywood. They're all trying to reinvent the same shit instead of, if the people at CBS back in 2015 had said, okay, what are we trying to achieve? We don't want fans making shit that good and taking it away from us. So they made it this us or them. Where if you understand fandom, it's not an us and them. It's an us, right? If CBS was a fandom-driven organization like we are, right? We're a fandom-driven organization. CBS would have said, these guys think like we do. They love Star Trek like we do. What can we do to bring them in-house so they're not competing with us? So we leverage their passion to benefit us, right? Which would have been really easy to do, but they don't think that way. Immediately it was us versus them. And ironically, us versus them with a guy they had been working with for 5 years. The guy that had been trying to get the Star Trek fan film guidelines for 5 years, right? The guy who had been meeting with the top people in CBS for 5 years, me, right?
It's not like they didn't have your phone number.
Who's making decisions over there? Jonathan Lane had a great article about the wrong people were in the room when they decided to sue Axanar. He said it was the lawyers who were making this. It wasn't, people who were driving Star Trek forward. So, and I'll tell you, and it's supremely disappointing to me when you have people like Roddenberry who are dissing Axanar. I'm just like, where are you coming from? We're fans. We love this shit. We want to promote it. So anyway, long story. This is the problem, and this is it. So there's no. So getting back to the comment, it wasn't about making Axanar shit in their CBS shit in their pants. It was like it was trying to get them to understand what we were trying to do, right? And unfortunately, they just weren't interested in hearing us. So there you go. Alexander is now spending his money on diapers. Yes, he is. Tell us, what's the little one update? How's the little one doing?
He's doing fine. Doing absolutely fine. £5.11 now, up from £5.3 last week. So he's been an absolute gannet and ate all his milk.
Richard Stammer, Sarasota, Florida. I'm an original Axanar fan dating back to 2014. I was 64 then. I'm 74 now. Will I really see Axanar before I die?
Well, that's a new way of formulating when is Axanar coming out. You've got to give him points for originality.
Richard, you get points for not being the ignorant fan of the day. Congratulations. Hey, all I can say is, if you live to see 75, you will have seen Axanar. So just don't die before you hit 75.
It depends it depends when he's 75.
Yeah, we will be coming out this year. We're in post-production right now. We finished shooting. We wrapped production last month, which we're real excited about. 19 actors in the can. It is going to be big and bold, and you are going to love it. It's freaking awesome.
Is that the E.C. Henry?
Eric Henry?
Eric Henry, as in
Eric Henry? The Eric Henry, who is a concept artist for Axanar, who's one of the absolute most creative people I know. I hope you. I don't know if you're that, because there is another Eric Henry that I always get. So I'm not sure if this is Eric. Tell us which Eric Henry you are.
Either way, yes, nice hats. Yes.
Yes, we thank you. So these will be sold because they have the Axanar Star logo on them. I can't sell them, but these will be sold by the Axanar fan group. So stay tuned for that. Not that guy. You are the other Eric Henry. Well, we still like you.
Still like you. You got an awesome name.
Well, yeah. Listen, as we said, if you followed our live stream last night, the problem with Discovery is not that it's woke; it's that it's poorly written. Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. One of my friends, he doesn't like the fact that there's not a single straight male character on the crew, and I'm like, okay, that's fair enough.
What about the Asian guy?
Yeah.
He's not.
Who
he's
you
not-
never
sorry,
see.
yeah, you never see him. Anyway, that's not what the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make here is I don't care about that. That's fine.
Right,
That's
I don't care
all
either.
good. But I do take offense at the fact that someone who's mutinied and has continuously disobeyed orders
Yes.
finds their way into the captain's chair, and
Yes.
all
Bad
through
writing.
just crying.
Bad writing. Yeah. Oh God,
It's
she
just-
cries all the time in the
just
first 2 seasons.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. It's what's that telling people? You can do whatever you want and you're still going to get rewarded.
Well, getting back to your comment that there's no straight white guys on Discovery
No, on the main cast, the
in the
bridge
main
crew,
cast. Okay, the main cast.
the ones
My
that you see
attitude
most
is-
of the time. I don't care.
I didn't. I until you said that, I didn't even notice because that's not like I
There's
don't
no-
look at a movie
well,
and go, "Are there any
it's-
straight white guys in this movie?" No. Oh. okay,
No,
I don't watch-
so it's not what I look for. What I
Right?
look for is a
I'm looking-
story.
If it's a brilliantly look at like the look at any one of the movies or whatever you want to talk about with gay female characters, gay character, whatever. Is it written well? If it's written well, I care about it. If it's not written well, I'm not going to care about it. I don't give a shit if they're all green. If they're all green transgendered mushrooms, I don't care. Is it well written, right? And the problem with
Exactly.
Discovery was it wasn't well written.
No.
And it had a different showrunner every year. And it had, it was just, so, look at Prodigy. No straight white guys in that crew, but it's still a lot of fun, right? So there you go.
In fact, there's Prodigy is just made out entirely of aliens and holograms, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's quite cool. That's not been done before. I'll give Prodigy kudos for that. But
So
I just
Scott,
couldn't get
you
past
said
the
same
first
hotel
episode.
as the first Axanar.
Oh,
Now, this is the Doubletree is where we're going to be holding it.
The hotel is the Doubletree at the airport. That's where it is. Now, if you're coming in, Thursday night, Friday we'll be at the studio, and then Saturday we'll be down at the Doubletree. So you could stay up here, just drive down. That's easy because we'll be driving. So Scott's like, there's no crying in Starfleet.
well, there can be, but it's just when that's the only emotion that the character brings across in every single episode, it gets a bit tiring.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Sonar in space. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Dave.
What's that? What's that in
Hey,
reference
everyone,
to?
like this live stream, by the way. Make sure you give this a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications icon. That's very important. Very, very important. Do those two things. Yeah. So just to stay in touch with us and everything. So Dale, tell everyone what we promoted a bunch of people. Who have we promoted this week in our Starfleet chapter?
Look at the list. If there's a rank next to it, they got promoted.
Let's see. Okay. I don't even know who Charlie.
Scott Vandermolen made
Right.
Lieutenant Commander.
I don't even know him. Okay, Scott Good, we promoted to Lieutenant Commander because he's
Yep.
a stage manager at the studio and he's
Scott
awesome.
Good is, I think, a Lieutenant Commander.
Crystal's a lieutenant.
Lieutenant,
Jefferson Kelly's a lieutenant. He's been doing great work. Frank Parker is a rear admiral. That's only because he transferred to our ship and he's been in Starfleet since like the Dark Ages. Larry Rode is a commander?
No, not a commander.
Crewman. Oh, he's a crewman.
Well, we promoted him yesterday. He is a lieutenant now, I believe.
Lieutenant. Yeah, right. Very good. And then, Scott Vandermolen is a lieutenant commander because he's also our social media director. He does great work. And then, So, and then we have some people who need to renew their memberships. Let's see. I don't even know who a bunch of these people are. We're gonna have to start cracking the whip. The beatings will continue until morale improves and you sign back up, right? So
Your replicator rations will be cut in half. So.
there you go. Yeah, exactly. Is okay. I assume you mean is Garth a fleet operations admiral? I don't. I'm not sure where you're talking in the timeline in after Axanar. What are you talking about? Got to be a little more specific. Wait, Ian. You're in Jamaica now. Are you in Jamaica because you're on vacation, or are you in Jamaica because you live there?
Either or, doesn't matter. Jamaica, very cool.
Very
Well, actually,
cool. Yeah, I mean,
it's
you
quite
win
hot there.
today. You win. Yeah, you win the lottery today. No, absolutely, Peter. We are working on a Orville fan film. We're really excited about, and then we do have our own universe that we're working on. So stay tuned. Ian lives in Jamaica, huh? Wow, rough life. I guess as long as you can make a living. I don't know what you're doing in Jamaica, but boy.
As far as I'm aware, life is cheap over there. So if you're earning a US or a US style wage, you're doing good.
Yep, there you go. There's David. Yes, of course, sonar wouldn't work.
Indeed, lidar. I think is what the other guy, Eric, was thinking about. Lidar is what would work in the vacuum of space, but sonar, as David says, sound does not travel in space, which is why everybody's saying, "Oh, this is so unrealistic." But you're just watching a film where you can hear the ships flying by. You can hear the weapons, and you're calling bullshit because he can open a door with his hands from afar.
Yesterday I was playing something on YouTube and I left and I came back and there was one of the What Culture Star Trek videos, and it was like the 10 stupidest things about Star Trek Generations. Now, and it was interesting because there was like a lot of stuff I hadn't thought of that they were like really, like, okay, here's something, really stupid about them. And it was really one of their best videos because they really got into some really good stuff. And the simple one was like, wait a second. So they shoot a missile. So Soren shoots a missile off of Viridian 3. And in 5 seconds, it gets to the sun and blows up the sun like that fast. And they did they talk about the science and all. And I go, yeah, that makes no freaking sense whatsoever. But there was a lot of stuff in that movie that made no freaking sense. I still love it as a movie. I'm one of those people that loves Generations. But yeah,
the way I see it, we're talking about a universe where we can travel many times faster than light, and we can transport ourselves without killing ourselves because the laws of physics say we cannot. Even if we do get transporters, you're killing the original copy and bringing and what materializes is a completely separate copy of what you transported. It's not the same person. So if we can go, okay, that's fine, and we can go fast and light, I don't have a problem with rockets being able to reach a sun in 5 seconds.
I don't have a problem in narrative storytelling. That doesn't make that when you right. It's like, look, it's for a story. Did I enjoy the movie? Yes.
In the universe of
science. No, we're talking about
exactly. In the universe, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, we're talking about a universe where they're mashing matter and antimatter together on a regular basis, And yes, your point about the transporters is like transporters will never happen because the computing power necessary to create an exact replica of a person is so enormous that it would take like the entire computer core from the Enterprise D. Just to focus on that. Anyway, did the aircraft ship have a bowling alley? Well, you're asking the guy who designed the plans.
I didn't put a bowling alley in there because it's a ship of war.
That's right. No one has.
But there is a cigar lounge where we can have fine cigars and whiskey.
Yes,
there is a Starbucks.
There's a Starbucks.
There's a Starbucks.
I actually labeled it. Did I label it a Starbucks?
I think you did.
I think you did. Yeah.
I may have labeled it after in homage to Richard, though. I may have changed it. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't have it. Yeah, and You'll be able to, and the blueprints are another thing you'll be able to get from the store. So there you go. It's the blueprints are amazing. Alexander did an amazing job on them. You guys, you've got to get the blueprints, and he's coming out with the Geronimo class blueprints. Right?
Geronimo at some point, yes.
Yeah,
that's the one with a double hull.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. And there's another patch coming out from the Geronimo class, because right now there's 3 Geronimo class patches you can get. Geronimo, I think we have Geronimo. What do we have? Geronimo, Crazy Horse, and Tecumseh, I think.
Yeah, we've got Tecumseh.
I don't think we have the Cochise, right? I think the Cochise is the one we're missing. Anyway, I'm working. They screwed that order up, so I'm working on that. So, and we're going to be coming out with patches for 2 Daedalus class ships in honor of our 2 executive producer / benefactors, Dave Lanyon and Goodney Goodnesson. I just got video of the ships, so which is giving me a lot of ideas on what to do for the people that have paid for having a ship named after them. So, good stuff there. There's Scott Martin Gavin. How are you? And Michael Carter, one of the Star Trek fans, is meeting me at the studio today. He wanted to take a quick look around the studio. So, excuse me. I didn't get enough. It was one of those. I woke up at like 5 this morning. Went to sleep at midnight because I'm watching Shogun. Wow, Shogun is really, really good. It's on Hulu, so you can watch it on Hulu. It's on ABC, but I'm watching it on Hulu. Wow, I just watched episode 4 last night. Was ridiculous, really, really good. Guys, that's another show everyone needs to watch. It's wonderful. It's Daedalus, 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 class. Yes.
Silent.
Scott. Scott's stalking me. He noticed I was up early this morning. Yes, I was up early this morning, and I lied in bed for an hour with little Juno cuddling with me. She decided she needed my attention. And I was like, okay, I'm not going back to sleep. I had to get up at 7 anyway. So woke up, threw on my workout clothes, and walked the dogs in darkness. Which was fine. It was that was nice. It's a great show. It's a great show. Oh, really? Okay. Well, yes, I am alive. So that's it. The other thing you guys might be interested in doing, if you're so inclined, is joining. If you want to see some of us debunk all the bullshit coming out of the Axanar haters group, there's a group called the which I'll pop up for you. It's called the Real Truth About Axanar. It's kind of, we have a lot of fun poking fun at the knuckleheads who who all think that Axanar is a scam. One guy, this morning I found a comment from one guy who said, that we had wasted $2 million. I'm like, okay, first of all, dude, you can't count.
Oh, it's gone to 2 million now, is it?
Yeah, it's up to 2 million.
No, my God. They change the number all the time.
I know. I know. So I'm like, oh God, just another knuckle. But anyway, here's the group. You can join this group. It's the Real Truth About Axanar. And it's just a place where we go and we make fun of the idiots who talk shit about Axanar all the time. But it's also a place where you can ask questions and we answer them. And if you hear a rumor, I heard blah blah blah, we'll tell you the truth. That's the whole point of it, is to tell the truth about what's happening in Axanar. It is a remake. It's not a remake. technically it's not a remake of the original 80s show. It's another take on the book. So it's really different than the original show. Also, you're talking about, 40 years later from when the original miniseries came out. And just we're a lot more sophisticated moviegoers now, content viewers now. And so the views of Japan and just the scope, it's much more cinematic than the original Shogun. So it's fantastic. And it's actually, I found out, based on a true story. There actually was a guy, so it's very interesting. Yeah, I know. Yeah, anything in the 80s is never as well made as you seem to remember it.
Yeah, remember you saw it in standard definition on an old TV.
Oh, it's the same girl. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Now that you mention it, I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Dustin says, if I were a captain of an Ares-class ship bowling alley that could double as a phaser training range and a dance floor. Okay. Yes, Scott says, yes, Axanar derangement syndrome. They have ADS. He said he was following the hate crew for a while. Yeah, they're crazy.
They're backpedaling now. Now that there's actually something tangible that people can see and it proves that we're doing something, they're now backpedaling from you're never going to do anything. You're not actually doing anything. You've just embezzled the money to all sorts of other things now, like, you're using other people's work. Yeah, I know. Michael, sometime this summer, August, September, maybe October, but probably August, September. It'll just see how long the VFX all take to work. Right, we waited this long. We're going to make sure we do it right. But principal photography is done. 19 actors in the can. We're in post-production. Yeah, I don't pay attention. If there's I'd love to see Top Gun 3. Boy, that's going to be a steep hill to climb. I mean, Top Gun 2 Top Gun Maverick was, it is legitimately up there with Godfather 2 and Empire Strikes Back as one of the greatest sequels of all time. So gosh, I'm not sure if a 3. I don't want to be the guy directing Top Gun 3. No, because 1 was bad and hard enough to follow. 2 is probably going to be even more impossible. 3 is going to be like a severe diminishment in return on investment. Yeah. So there you go. Now, actually, Paramount's not doing great financially, and their stock is. It's so funny. I sent my friend when there's a note when their stock had fallen to 17. Now it's at 11. So yeah, they're struggling. They really need new management. That's going to be really good for them. I have no idea how that's going to affect Star Trek. Well, it's probably the reason why we're not going to get a Star Trek 4, because they just don't have the money to put that together. I mean, realistically, until they figure out what they're doing there, I mean, doing a Star Trek 4, and plus the contrivance of having Chris Hemsworth come back as George Kirk, as Kirk's father, we don't need. I mean, right off the bat, I'm like, yeah, that's just not something that everyone's going to be just because Chris Hemsworth is in it. You think people are going to go see a Star Trek movie? To quote one of people's favorite characters, he's dead, Jim. Yeah, it's kind of I read that like, but he beamed out to a shuttle, and it's kind of like Scotty coming back, and fudge, just you lost already. That's I wouldn't go see that movie. If you have to make it that contrived, it's not going to work. Yeah.
Hey, Alec. Speaking of beaming out, I've got to run.
All right, my friend. All right. Sounds good. We'll talk some more later. Good seeing you, Dale.
All right, take care, guys.
everyone, he's the XO of the USS Ares chapter of Starfleet International, which is the biggest Star Trek fan club. And if you join, you'll be reporting to Dale. And when you do things, it's got to, you join and you're a crewman, and you can become an officer and work your way up by doing cool things, right? And, you know, and whether it's taking courses, whether it's helping out in Axanar or helping the studio, or just like Nemesis of Eden, who's going to join, I'll make him a lieutenant right off the bat because he's cool. So, or I'm sorry, I'll make you an ensign right off the bat. You know, because you're a good fan. I know I think it was Hashim Hathaway was a member, and he renewed. And we're like, oh, he's been with us since the beginning of our live stream. So like we promoted him just because he's a loyal fan in the live stream. So yeah, Scott Voigt, who's here, he's our transportation coordinator. So he drives out from Texas to our film shoot. So yeah. So anyway, join up, and hopefully I'll tell you guys a little bit about the annual convention after Dale has left. But thanks, Dale. We'll see you soon.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Cheers.
Bye.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Yes. Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, I was saying something about the Paramount TV application not working. Yeah, I can attest to that. That it does not install. So I can only watch Paramount Plus stuff on my computer, which is fine. I've got a nice big widescreen anyway, so it's fine.
You know, oops, sorry. Did I miss?
We've still got 15, 20 minutes to go. Wilhelm, you're fine. You've not missed most of it this time.
There we go. Yeah, I mean,
it could be
I just thought that was a bad fit. Like I like seeing different. Like, listen, I was the guy before they hired J.J. Abrams. All the time I was like, yeah, what we need is Michael Bay doing Star Trek. I was saying that all the time, meaning we needed something totally different. We needed something that was younger and hipper, and we got JJ, who is basically same kind of filmmaker. And yeah, I mean, we got something different, you know. Quentin Tarantino, that's really different.
Yeah, it would have been singularly different, and I don't think you could have continued after, because looking at all of his other films.
Yeah, it's not something you're going to make a franchise out of.
You wouldn't make a franchise of it, definitely not. Yeah.
So that wasn't appropriate, I think. I just don't think he's the right guy for Star Trek. You can love his movies all you want, but for Star Trek, yeah, I don't think that's it. So I don't know. So I don't know how that would have turned out. So anyway.
Yeah, it could have been interesting if you just accepted it as an offshoot. You know, we've got the timelines, and this one just shoots off that way, because his timelines, you know, I mean, not the film's been out for long enough now. If you've not seen it yet, that's on you. Inglourious Bastards. Look at how that timeline goes. That doesn't hold true to how it went.
Thank you, Scott. It's good seeing you. Fedayeen says, so all filming for both 2x15-minute Axanar content is done. Yes. All the principal photography is done. It's in post-production, and we're doing VFX. So that's where we are. So there you go. So there's the answer to that. Yeah. So I assume you mean post 2005.
I think so.
Thanks, Dustin. You know, listen, I appreciate that. You don't need me making Star Trek. You need someone who loves Star Trek like Terry Matalas, right? You look at what Terry Matalas did, and he gave Star Trek fans what they wanted. I'm always amazed. You know, we've talked here before about Doomcock, and I divide Doomcock. Doomcock is like, for me, it's like my right-wing friends that I have. I have friends who are right-wing Trump supporters, and we're good friends. We just don't agree on politics at all, right? And that's the way I am with Duncog. I think his shtick is great. I think he really cares about his audience. I think he's really good that way. His live streams are good, a lot of fun. I just don't agree with his takes. Everything. The problem with everything is woke. Everything is bad. I mean, listen, you can legitimately complain about how bad the 3 Star Wars prequels were. We can agree on that all day long and dissect those 3, disasters. But it's not Daisy Ridley's fault. The problem with those 3 episodes isn't that they're woke. The problems are a lot deeper. You can't say Disney's ruined Star Wars. I just think that's objectively false. Has it been uneven? Yes. Could Kenobi have been better? Yes. But
it wasn't terrible.
Much better. Ahsoka was awesome. Can't wait for season 2 of that.
Holy crap, it was. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so they're already bitching about the Acolyte. I mean, Jesus Christ, they haven't even seen it yet.
Didn't you say it made Lucasfilm was made $12 billion for Disney?
Yeah, in profit.
That doesn't sound like something that's failing to me.
Yeah.
That sounds to me like the majority of people are actually enjoying it, and the bad comments you hear is just the few. The small, but because the internet's such a huge soapbox.
It's Fox News. It's the Fox News phenomenon. The Fox News does not represent half the country. It doesn't. And Rogue One, Scott Gavin points out Rogue One. Rogue One's fantastic. It's my favorite Star Wars film. And it just goes to show you that there is good stuff. It's like, and honestly, as we've talked about, Solo was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed Solo, and I loved the retcon of why he's called Han Solo. If you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. It's really, really, really good. And I loved how in Rogue One, at the end, it meshes seamlessly into A New Hope. You really understand why Vader wasn't taking any of their shtick on that ship. He knew it wasn't a counselor ship. He knew they weren't on a diplomatic mission. That's why he's not listening to them.
Yeah.
And going around tearing the place apart because he knows they have the plans.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And of course, why some nobody from some backwater planet suddenly becomes Red 5.
Yeah.
It explains how Luke becomes Red 5.
Because, so it's uneven, yeah. But it's like now they're all bitching about Marvel. Well, for 15 years, you didn't, or however long it was, 12 years since when did Iron Man come out? 2010. No one bitched about Marvel because every movie was a hit, right? Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden you're bitching about Marvel, right? You can't tell me, oh, Marvel, blah, blah. It's the same freaking people.
Yeah,
the same people. Kevin Feige is still in charge. So you want to bitch about Kevin Feige, who gave you everything from Iron Man to Endgame, right? It's just like, oh God, it's just,
that's the crux. I think that's the crux. After Endgame, it's all sideline characters.
Retired.
It's like the main people that people were really interested in. They're no longer in the films, apart from maybe a cameo or two.
Well, now it's Doctor Strange, it's Spider-Man, it's Captain Marvel. They could make a good. It could be good, but and listen, Falcon the Winter Soldier was a little soft. It was I enjoyed it, but it wasn't great. So Hawkeye was great. I thought Hawkeye was great, but it's been. I'm not even sure it's been a little uneven. I mean, certainly Quantumania was weak. Certainly the Marvels was weak, right? But and that's going to affect it when you have 2 movies in a row that flop. Yeah, people are going to, but
they're not going to trust the third one, and they're not going to trust the fourth one unless it's absolutely stellar, and they haven't been.
Yeah. Meanwhile, 2 seasons of Loki were pretty damn good.
I've not watched the second season all the way through yet.
Yeah, it's good.
Hey, Charlie came along and yeah, that was that. I
Yeah,
just haven't had time.
I love Captain Marvel. I love her. I like Brie Larson in that role. I love the way they write her. But the Marvels, that movie was weak. I mean, I was like, okay, let's see what else you got. Yeah, well, right. They're bringing it back because it was really good. All that Netflix content was really good.
Except Netflix has now gone the way of sci-fi. They build something really up and then they go and cancel it.
Yeah.
It's like I would not be surprised to find that the people leading Netflix right now used to lead Sci-Fi Channel, because they're the ones that made brilliant series like the new V series and then just cancel it halfway through a season and then just don't finish that season. You're like, and at one point they had no science fiction shows at all. Like, but you call yourself sci-fi? It's like MTV, no music on it.
Right? Yeah. No, I have not seen Arcane. I don't even know what it's about, but I'll look into it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Madam Web, I hear, was just really weak, Now, that's not Marvel, that's Sony. And Sony, Venom, the only reason the Spider-Man movies were good was because Kevin Feige was producing them, right? But Kevin Feige and Marvel don't give a shit about the other characters. Mobius, Venom, Madam Web. I mean, Sony is basically shit the bed as far as building out a Spider-Verse over there. It's like, yeah, you guys don't get it. Your movies are weak. Just give it up. Yeah. I hated that they canceled Caprica 2 because I thought the season was good. The first season was really good.
I'm glad I never actually got into that, because I would. It's from the sounds of it, I would have been mad that they cancelled it as well.
Yeah.
It just, I said to myself, I'll get round to it, and I didn't. Yeah. And then suddenly it was cancelled. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't get round to it.
Getting back to Marvel too, is once everyone retired from Marvel, I'm not sure that they really sat down and said, okay, if we're going to come out with the next two Avengers movies in 2026 or whenever they're planning them, what's the road to those two movies, and who are the characters, who are they going to take to reinvent it? Because you lost Iron Man, you lost Captain America, you still got Hulk, you still got Thor, you lost Scarlet Witch. I'm not Scarlet. I'm sorry. You lost Black Widow, right? Hawkeye. And you still got Hawkeye, but he's retired. He's gone back to his family. So, who's the new core, right? And if it is the new core, then you need to give them powerful movies. Spider-Man got a great one. Spider-Man 3, No Way Home was great.
I enjoyed it.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness was great.
Mm-hmm.
Not crazy about that title, right? I think between Multiverse of Madness and Quantumania, I think they need someone else coming up with titles, because I don't think those titles are strong. But anyway, Doctor Strange was strong. That's two of your main characters, right? Your main Avengers right there. They needed a strong Captain Marvel too, and they didn't get it. It was just weak. And that screws you, because Captain Marvel is arguably the strongest Avenger in the Marvel universe now. So, and are you really going to bring back Thor to the Avengers when, he can't be the only Avenger you bring back? Because if he is, what's his? He's not the leader. He's not going to lead the team, right? So, yeah, I just feel like they didn't really think it through. And the new Falcon, you're not going to make the new Falcon the leader of the team.
It's going to be a weak team, unless you bring back all the lead characters from from the franchise up to Endgame. It's going to be a weak team. It's going to be a run of has-beens. and also could have
Yeah.
ran.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have Spider-Man, you have Doctor Strange. Those are two great characters. You have Hulk, right? You can bring back Hulk. You could bring back Thor, but I kind of felt like they needed Captain Marvel to be the leader of the team, and they haven't developed her that way. So, all right, let's check out some more. I didn't say Disney movies are great. What did I just say? I said, I mean, they clearly screwed up on all three of the sequels to Star Wars, right? Godzilla Minus One was an amazing movie, and I haven't seen it yet, but everyone says it's amazing. So great is great. I mean, it's a great movie. Yeah, she hasn't really blossomed, after the 50 Shades movies. Let's see. The What If series are good. Like, did you see all the What Ifs? That was really good. That was really good stuff. Let's see what else you got. Oh, and we had a really good Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That was really good.
I've watched it. I can't remember it.
I've not seen Dune 2 yet, but I hear it's awesome.
No, I haven't seen it either yet.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can certainly say that. I mean, the challenge for Star Wars was you didn't have a Kevin Feige, which you do now. Now they put Dave Filoni in charge, right? And that'll even things out for the Star Wars universe. But the problem beforehand, it was Kathy Kennedy in charge. Well, that's the wrong person to be in charge. You need the creative mind, the person who understands the franchise, the person who's going to map everything out. It wasn't Kathy Kennedy. So the argument about her being the wrong person is I agree with. I just don't agree with that all Star Wars that's come out has been crap. I just fundamentally disagree with that premise.
Yeah, no, I disagree with it as well.
I mean, yes, okay, you have 3 shitty movies. Yeah, I would argue that Solo is good and Rogue One is great. Okay, now that's not a winning record, grant you, but 5 movies, it's not a winning grant, right? They have 5. But on the TV side of things, I would argue the record is really strong. All the TV shows they're coming out with.
Mando was fantastic.
What's that?
Mando was fantastic.
Mandalorian
Andor was awesome.
Right. Yes,
I
great.
think the only week I think Boba Fett was the only weak one there.
That was weak.
It was a very slow burner, and no one was intimidated by the quadrophilia in space.
And Wilhelm, what is Wokezilla?
I think he's meaning that Godzilla Minus One is woke somehow. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Guardians 3 is good. Watch it. Your spoiler time is up. We feel absolutely no compunction if the movie is 6 months old about spoiling it. So get to work there.
I mean, I've watched it, but I can't remember it. So it can't be that good if I can't remember it. I do remember not hating it though, or going But no, I think for Star Wars TV series, there are more hits than misses.
Yeah, I agree.
The films are more misses than hits by popular opinion. But I didn't have too much of a problem with the films.
Yeah.
I didn't have too much of a problem. I loved everybody. Yeah, indeed. I loved everybody shouting and screaming, saying, "Oh, Force Awakens it's too similar to A New Hope," so they make it much different for the next film. Then it's too different. You're like, come on! The
problem was I thought Daisy Ridley was good, and her character could have, that's an interesting journey. But
a lot of people say she was too Mary Sue.
I'm
like, yes and no. I mean, she wasn't really Force sensitive until her mind was probed by a Force user. The Force awakens. Something went click inside her head.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to love in the first movie, but it is just a bit. It is typical J.J. Abrams.
It kind of is, yeah. But we're talking about a film here where we have space wizards and and fast and light dry travel and stuff like that. I don't find it too much of a stretch that someone's latent powers.
They can make up all the.
They can make
up. The Acolyte trailer was good. I saw it yesterday for the first time, so
I saw it as well. It's not made me go, "Oh, I need to see that," but it's not also made me go, "Eh."
Yeah, no, I don't judge things on trailers. So it's good. All right, listen, I have to get going. I have work to do, so we are going to end this stream. But thank you.
You also have a cat to pick up.
Thank you for I do. Thank you for joining us for a little nooner, guys. We appreciate you guys. Have a good day. Everyone be safe out there. We'll be back. I'm not sure we're doing anything tonight on the stream, but we'll try and do something this weekend. Maybe Sunday brunch. We'll keep you. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notifications icon and get all of our notifications. And also make sure I didn't post it, but make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. Right? Go to axanar.com. Sign up for the newsletter just so you get all the emails. By now you should do it. And go to sfi.org and join Starfleet International. Join the Ares chapter, and we'll have more to talk about. Okay. All right, guys. Listen, thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Alexander, for joining me. And we'll see you next time around the galaxy. Cheers.
Peace and long life.
Live long and prosper.